A very good afternoon. Welcome to the midday news on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Ashwarya with you, and here are the headlines. Second part of budget session resumes. Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu expresses hope of a productive session, gives details of meetings of department-related standing committees, congratulates members with 100% attendance in meetings. Rajya Sabha adjourned till 2 p.m. as opposition protests over Delhi violence. Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu says restoring normalcy should be the priority, urges members to discuss ways to prevent violence. Lok Sabha adjourned till 2 p.m. after paying tribute to JDU member Baidyanath Prasad Mahato, who passed away on 28th of February. Lower House listed to take up Direct Tax Vivad Se Vishwas Bill and Medical Termination of Pregnancy Amendment Bill today. In Nirbhaya case, Supreme Court dismisses curative petition filed by Pawan Gupta. Mercy petitions of Mukesh, Vinay and Akshay have already been dismissed by the President. All 4 convicts are scheduled to be hanged at 6 a.m. on 3rd of March. Over 3,000 people dead, 88,000 cases reported worldwide due to novel coronavirus. 2 deaths in the US. Indonesia records first case. India to evacuate citizens from Iran, the worst affected nation after China. 112 Wuhan evacuees test negative at Delhi facility. So, Rajya Sabha proceedings were adjourned till 2 p.m. today after opposition parties protested over the issue of violence in the national capital. Disallowing opposition notices for the discussion of the issue, Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu said that the issue is important and deserves to be discussed, but members must restore normalcy in the House first.
सामान्य स्थिति लाने के लिए एक स्वर से बोले, ये कोई पद्धति नहीं, ये तो कोई शोभा नहीं देते। सामान्य स्थिति लाना बहुत जरूरी है, हमारा कर्तव्य बनता है, हम सब लोग मिलकर उसके लिए। इसलिए मैं चाहता हूं नेता विपक्ष से भी और नेता सदन से भी और संबंधित मंत्री से भी बातचीत करने के बाद ही मैं समय तय करूंगा कब चर्चा करना। ये तो मेरा निर्णय है। लेट द टोटल पीस बी रिस्टोर्ड, लेट अस स्टेट टू सी दैट द सिस्टम इज वर्क इफेक्टिवली एंड देन normalcy to be brought in.
Meanwhile, earlier as the opposition's proceedings began, Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu said that the proceedings of the House during the first half of the current budget session were largely purposeful, with 96% sitting, and expressed hope that the ongoing session will also be productive. He also read out a record of department-related standing committees that considered demands for grants for 24 departments.
In respect of demands for grants 2020-21, the 8 committees of Rajya Sabha have held 20 meetings and discussed the demands of 18 ministries over a total duration of 63 hours. Taking into consideration that the Parliament meets for about 6 hours during each sitting, the total time spent by these 8 committees examining the demands of various ministries in effect amounts to over 10 sittings of Parliament. Proportionately, the work done by the 16 committees of Lok Sabha amounts to another 20 sittings of the Parliament. In all, the work put in by the total 24 DRSCs in examining the demands for grants of all the ministries equal to 30 days of functioning of the Parliament, which is quite significant. That alone takes the total of sittings of Parliament during a year to over 100 days. If we consider the total range of functions of these committees, this would be even much more. These 8 committees of Rajya Sabha have 244 members from both the Houses of Parliament, including 78 members from Rajya Sabha, 166 members from the Lok Sabha. These committees have had 2 or 3 sittings each. Overall, the attendance of the members in the 20 meetings has been 45.35%.
The House also paid tribute to the former member A.V. Swamy. And the Lok Sabha, meanwhile, was adjourned till 2 p.m. after an obituary reference to Baidyanath Prasad Mahato, the JDU MP from Valmiki Nagar in Bihar, who passed away last month. As soon as the House convened, Speaker Om Birla expressed condolences over Mahato's death and adjourned the House. All right, let's get all the updates. Panchanan Mishra is now joining us for more details. A very good afternoon, Panchanan. Panchanan, the budget session second half resumed today, but unfortunately, both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha were adjourned within minutes because the opposition has been raking up the Delhi violence issue in Parliament, and it had also given suspension notices in Rajya Sabha, but of course the chairman had disallowed those notices. What can we expect as far as the second half of the budget today's session is concerned?
Yes, Ashwarya, this was the second part of this budget session, and today, as expected, in both the houses, the Delhi violence issue was raised by the opposition parties, and in both the houses, the notices were given to adjourn the question hour and discuss the issue of Delhi violence. But as we saw in both the houses, there was ruckus due to it. So both the houses were adjourned up to 2. And before it, Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu in Rajya Sabha, he elaborated regarding the meeting of the standing committees. Because in the intercession period of first part and second part, the committees met to prepare a report on these demand for grant on various ministries, and he given the important data regarding the attendance of the members who are there to attend the meetings of these committees. So he said that there is a need of improvement in case of attendance, because this committee system is providing a parliament a good functionary values. So this was the resume for this Rajya Sabha, and post lunch we are expecting that important bills regarding homeopathy, central universities bill will be there, Sanskrit central universities will be there, and also the bill regarding homeopathy and Indian medical system. These three important bills are there, and we are expecting that if the situation works good, then there will be a discussion on these issues.
Absolutely. And Panchanan, as far as the entire second half of the budget session is concerned, the government plans to introduce some key bills. Of course, there are one on reproductive rights, but the opposition, of course, has been raking up Delhi violence issue. And the government has said that it is ready to discuss all issues. But of course, the priority is to get the finance bill 2020 passed. So talking about the second half of the budget session, how do you look at the key bills that have been hanging fire and that are, the government would be really looking forward to passing these bills?
You rightly said, Aishwarya, and this is a budget session, so the priority of the government is to get past this finance bill. And as in the first part, the budget was presented, and there was a discussion and reply from the Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. And in the second part, the finance bill will also be tabled in the House, and the appropriation bill will also be there, and demand for grant for various ministries will be there. These all needs approval of the Lok Sabha, and also it will be discussed in Rajya Sabha before returning it to Lok Sabha. So this is an important legislation regarding entire budget. But apart from these finance bills, many bills like 27 new bills will be there, and as government has mentioned that 3 important bills regarding rights to women will be there, like the surrogacy bill, medical termination of pregnancy bill, and also ART bill. These 3 bills are there which are dealing with surrogacy, IVF techniques, and also which can stop the harassment of any woman to have a motherhood. So these 3 important bills are also there, and data protection bill is also there. So many important legislations are listed. That's why government is regularly saying that it is ready to discuss all the issues, including Delhi violence. But first there should be a normalcy in Delhi, in that areas. Then it can be discussed. So the government is now trying to reach out the opposition. We have to see that how opposition will behave. But certainly the important legislations are there before the parliament in 22 settings of this Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Aishwarya.
All right. Thank you so much, Panchanan, for all those updates there on Parliament. And let's take a look at the legislative business in both houses of Parliament. The Rajya Sabha will take up 3 bills for consideration and passing. These include the Central Sanskrit Universities Bill 2019, which will be moved for consideration and passing by Union Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank. This bill aims to establish and incorporate universities for teaching and research in Sanskrit and to develop all-inclusive Sanskrit promotional activities. Also, the National Commission for Indian System of Medicine Bill 2019 will be moved by Minister Shripad Yesso Naik. Now, this bill aims to provide for medical education system that improves the access to quality and affordable medical education and to promote equitable and universal health care that makes medical services accessible to all citizens. Naik will also move the National Commission for Homeopathy Bill 2019, which is aimed to ensure availability of adequate and high-quality homeopathy medical professionals. And talking now about Lok Sabha. Well, the Lok Sabha is also slated to take up a number of bills today. These include the Medical Termination of Pregnancy Amendment Bill 2020, to amend the Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act 1971, to be introduced by Union Minister Dr. Harshvardhan. And Minister Prahlad Joshi will move the Mineral Laws Amendment Bill 2020 for introduction, which is aimed to amend the Mines and Minerals Development and Regulation Act 1957 and the Coal Mines Special Provisions Act 2015. Also, the Direct Tax Vivad Se Vishwas Bill 2020 is listed for consideration and passing in the Lok Sabha. And also listed for consideration and passing is the Aircraft Amendment Bill 2020 to amend the Aircraft Act 1934. This will be moved by Union Minister Hardeep Singh Puri. All right, let's get you some other news. In the Nirbhaya case, death row convict Pawan Kumar Gupta has filed a mercy plea before the president. Now, the move comes just hours before the Supreme Court dismissed his curative petition. A 5-judge bench headed by Justice N.V. Ramana also rejected Pawan's application seeking a stay on the execution of the death sentence. The mercy petitions of 3 convicts, Mukesh, Vinay and Akshay, have already been dismissed by the president. The trial court had ordered the execution of death warrants for Tuesday at 6 a.m. for the 4 convicts. And the Supreme Court has refused to refer to a larger bench pleas challenging the constitutional validity of abrogation of Article 370. A 5-judge constitution bench headed by Justice N.V. Ramana said that there are no reasons to refer the pleas to a larger 7-judge bench. The 5-judge Supreme Court bench will continue to hear the cases related to 5th of August decision of the centre that scrapped Article 370 from Jammu and Kashmir. The Apex Court had on 23rd of January reserved its order on the issue of whether the batch of pleas would be referred to a larger 7-judge bench. Home Minister Amit Shah addressed a public rally in Kolkata on Sunday, where he once again assured that no one will lose citizenship due to the implementation of the CAA. He added that the government is committed to provide citizenship to the refugees who were displaced from neighbouring countries, despite continuous protests from the opposition.
बंगाल के और बंगालियों के लाखों करोड़ों भाइयों के लिए बड़ी समस्या बनी हुई थी। वो समस्या थी शरणार्थियों को नागरिकता नहीं मिलती थी, शरणार्थियों को नागरिकता नहीं। वोट बैंक के तुष्टीकरण की राजनीति शुरू हो गई और जब मोदी जी सीएए लेकर आए, एक कांग्रेस, कम्युनिस्ट, ममता सारे विरोध में खड़े हो गए। इस देश में वो माइनॉरिटी को डराते हैं कि माइनॉरिटी की नागरिकता चली जाएगी, मुसलमान भाइयों बहनों की नागरिकता चली जाएगी। ये बंगाल की कलकत्ता की धरती पर से मैं कलकत्ता के सभी, बंगाल के सभी माइनॉरिटी के भाइयों बहनों को कहने आया हूं, सीएए से आपकी नागरिकता कभी जाने वाली नहीं है। सीएए नागरिकता देने का कानून है, नागरिकता लेने का कानून नहीं।
And in another event, Amit Shah also interacted with the National Security Guards, where he said that India has zero tolerance towards terrorism and has developed a proactive security policy under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
जिनके मन में देश को तोड़ने का विचार है, जिनके मन में देश को क्षति पहुंचाने का विचार है, देश की शांति को भंग करने का विचार है, इसके मन में एक भय एनएसजी की उपस्थिति का खड़ा करने का काम एनएसजी का है। नरेंद्र मोदी सरकार जब से बनी तब से सुरक्षा बलों के लिए ढेर सारी चीजें, ढेर सारी सुविधाएं हमने एक के बाद एक शुरुआतें कर दी हैं। हम हाउसिंग सेटिस्फेक्शन रेशियो को भी बहुत जल्द इंप्रूव करेंगे। हम जवानों को परिवार के साथ रहने का एक सुनियोजित, सिर्फ एनएसजी नहीं, हर सुरक्षा बल के जवानों को अपने परिवार के साथ कम से कम 100 दिन रह पाए, इस प्रकार की एक व्यवस्था, इस प्रकार का एक चक्र खड़ा कर रहे हैं, जिससे जवान अपने परिवार के साथ कम से कम 100 दिन तक रह पाए।
And in midday news, we'll take a very short break. News and updates continue on the other side. Stay tuned. The government has collected 1.05 lakh crore rupees as the GST revenue in the month of February. Now, this is up 8% over the same month last year. The GST revenues during the month of February from domestic transactions has shown a growth of 12% over the same month last year. Now, this is the fourth consecutive month when the GST collections is above 1 lakh crore rupees mark. However, the collection from the GST in February was lower than the 1.1 lakh crore rupees that was collected in the month of January. The Central Board of Secondary Education has announced that the examinations of both Class 10th and the Class 12th in the Northeast Delhi will continue as per schedule. Now, earlier, the CBSE had to postpone the examinations following the violence that erupted in that area. The board said that a further delay in conducting Class 12 examinations will hamper the chances of admissions in professional courses like medical, engineering, law and other UG admissions. CBSE has also written to Delhi Police Commissioner to make adequate security arrangements in and around the examination centres located in Northeast Delhi. The board said that it is also prepared to hold examinations at a later date for such candidates who would not be able to appear for the examinations up to the 7th of this month. India is ready to evacuate its citizens from Iran over coronavirus threat. Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar said on Sunday that the government is working with the Iranian officials for the same. Now, this is comes as Iran has seen the highest number of casualties due to the outbreak of coronavirus outside China, where the disease originated. Now, Iran asked India to take immediate steps to evacuate Indians. The communication made in a note verbal that is issued by the Iranian embassy in Delhi on Saturday. And India's ambassador to Iran, Gadam Dharmendra, said on Saturday that the authorities are working to facilitate the return of those Indians who wish to go back to New Delhi. India had on Thursday also temporarily suspended all flights from Iran. Iran's health ministry on Sunday, meanwhile, raised the nationwide the death toll from the coronavirus to 54 and the number of confirmed infected cases jumped to 978. Of the newly confirmed cases, majority are in Tehran. Schools and cinemas have been closed for the second week. Public buses and metro are still operating but are being disinfected daily. Meanwhile, India has also said that all the 112 people housed at an ITBP quarantine facility after being evacuated from Wuhan in China have tested negative for coronavirus after their first samples were taken. Remember, 76 Indians and 36 foreigners were taken to the ITBP Force Quarantine Center in the national capital on 27th of February after they were flown in from Wuhan city on an Indian Air Force transport plane. And talking about the worldwide situation, the novel coronavirus has now killed more than 3,000 people worldwide, the vast majority, of course, being in mainland China. And the WHO on Sunday said that the number of confirmed cases of coronavirus in Hubei province increased for 2 successive days after a period of decline. There have been more than 88,000 global cases with infections in every continent except Antarctica. The WHO says that the outbreak has reached the highest level of risk for the world, with the Director General of the WHO saying that it can go in any direction. While China accounts for maximum cases, large number of cases have also been reported in Iran, Italy, South Korea and Japan. New cases of coronavirus were also reported from the US's New York City. And Indonesia also reported its first 2 cases of coronavirus. Meanwhile, share prices in Asia reversed early losses after Japan's central bank promised to support the markets. And on Friday, the US Federal Reserve also made a similar pledge to intervene to stop big further falls on the world's financial markets. Remember, last week concerns about the outbreak wiped more than $5 trillion from global stocks. And data released on Saturday showed that China's official purchasing managers index contracted in February at the fastest rate on record. The fall, which was even worse than the slump seen during the 2008 global financial crisis, highlights the outbreak's huge impact on the world's second largest economy, China, and also the entire world. All right, let's get you some other international news talking about the US Taliban historic deal. Well, just a day after it was signed, the peace deal faced its biggest obstacle on Saturday, with the Afghan President Ashraf Ghani rejecting the prisoner exchange clause. Ghani said that his government has not pledged to free Taliban prisoners, adding that the release is not in the authority of the United States, but in the authority of the Afghan government. Under the landmark agreement that was signed on Saturday in Doha in Qatar, 5,000 Taliban insurgents would have to be released in exchange for 1,000 government detainees by 10th of March. However, Ghani said that the demand could be included in the agenda of the intra-Afghan talks, but cannot be a prerequisite for the talks. And earlier, hailing the deal that paves the way for the withdrawal of US troops from Afghanistan, Donald Trump had said that if anything bad happens after the deal, US would go back with a force like no one's ever seen.
I really believe the Taliban wants to do something to show that we're not all wasting time. If bad things happen, we'll go back. I let the people know we'll go back, and we'll go back so fast, and we'll go back with a force like nobody's ever seen. And I don't think that will be necessary. I hope it's not necessary.
And now let's talk about environment and climate change. Climate change increases temperatures all year long, but in some areas, the spring season temperatures are increasing faster. Of the 242 cities in the United States, 197 saw at least a 1 degree rise in spring temperature over the past 50 years. But the southwest US saw the greatest number of above normal temperature during spring season. Warmer weather seems not only stresses agriculture, but also leads to longer allergy seasons, which is favorable for mosquitoes and other pathogens. Warming spring temperatures also interfere with the pollination, hibernation and bird migration, harming economies and ecosystems. And with that, we wrap up this edition of Midday News. Thanks so much for your time.